Reports indicate that a deadly C virus has infected Nintendo haters all across the world. The C virus was first discovered during the launch of Nintendo Switch. This epidemic exclusively affects the Nintendo haters, and the symptoms include inability to appreciate and see graphics below the resolution of 1080p, and in certain extreme cases, it induces an insurmountable urge to go to Metacritic and give Nintendo exclusives a very poor rating. Hi guys, Soul Controller here. Welcome to another edition of Review of Fanboy Reviews, the Breath of the Wild edition. We'll take a fun look at some of the worst fanboy reviews left on Metacritic for Breath of the Wild. Before we start, let me just tell you that I cannot show you any gameplay from Breath of the Wild, as I don't want a copyright claim from Nintendo. Nintendo has this archaic policy of not letting any gameplay footage from their games be shown on YouTube unless you have a specific permission from them to do so, which I certainly don't. Instead, I'm going to show you some gameplay footage of Hollow Knight, an awesome Metroidvania-style 2D game which has just been released on Switch. So without any further ado, let's start the review of the Fanboy Review. So first up, we have Tywin, I guess from the House of Lannister. He writes, Zelda really out to move faster, especially on his snowboard. What? You don't even know who Zelda is? Have you played this game? Have you played any Zelda game? You are hating on the game without knowing who Zelda is? Really? Really? The fake Tywin Lannister then complains about the climbing and the slow pace, and this is how he ends his review. Overall, great game, ruined by some easily fixable problems. So it's a great game, but he hates Nintendo, so he's gotta give it a 0. Similarly, we have Al Goros, the Vice President of America in the 90s. He also says, everywhere new things to discover, amazing story, and wunderschön graphic. Thanks Nintendo, wunderschön being German for wonderful. This can be the best game ever if the DLC are the last two %. % being percent in German. So Tywin Lannister and Al Gore both seem to love this game, but they seem to hate Nintendo. So they have to give this game a 0 out of 10. If you want to give a game a 0 out of 10, at least pretend to dislike the game. Make some reasons up. Write them down. How hard could it be? Look at the other fanboys. When they don't have a reason to hate, they always have graphics, resolution, frame rate, 720p, 900p. Or do what this guy does, Mr. or Miss Caramello. He says, generic boring game. Your review is generic and boring. Walk into an area, a bunch of low definition stuff happens. What the hell does that mean? Then you follow some marker by running for 10 minutes, spend 5 minutes killing a boring enemy, and repeat. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a fanboy template for giving a game a bad rating. In almost every video game, you'll walk into an area, or run, or drive, or fly, kill a bunch of stuff, move on, rinse, and repeat. What happens within this gameplay loop is what makes a game good or bad. Alright, next up we have ChicaSwag123. He says, this game is the worst. All you do is walk around and bosses are easy. Didn't bother to return it. Instead, I gave it what it deserved. I threw it in the trash. Good riddance to bad rubbish. I don't recommend playing this game. Ooh, we have a badass over here. Mr. ChicaSwag123. I think either of these two things have happened. A, you never had this game. You never played this game. You never had the console. You're just hating on Nintendo. B, you borrowed a copy of Breath of the Wild from a friend. You placed it gently in a trash can. Then you took a selfie with said trash can, took the game out of the trash can, wiped the cover nice and clean, and gave it back to your friend. And the picture you took was used to troll Nintendo and its fans online. Guys, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think happened with ChicaSwag123. Next up, we have Omega-san, Tukui-Pat, Carrot Cake with a K, and your future leader, I hope not, complaining about the resolution. When all else fails, complain about the resolution and the frame rate. Tukui-Pat, the most reasonable out of them, says 930 FPS on dock, has problems staying at 30 FPS while docked, runs fine in handheld. Okay. Your future leader, not mine, says overrated game, blah blah blah, GameCube graphics, and runs at 20 FPS. The frame rate seems to be dropping from fanboy to fanboy. Omega-san says, worst Zelda game ever, 15 FPS 720p garbage. Carrot Cake writes a longish review attacking Nintendo for all its practices, calling Zelda the worst game in the series and a contender for the biggest cash grab, and then goes on an incoherent rant about various aspects of the game and finally ends up by saying the graphics are shit, I guess. And yet somehow the game manages to run at a glorious 5 FPS. So we have gone from 30 FPS to 5 FPS. It's very obvious that these guys have been infected by the C virus, with Carrot Cake being the worst affected as he plays the game at a glorious 5 FPS. There are a whole bunch of fanboys complaining about the resolution and the frame rate of this game. Yes, certain sections of the game do suffer from a little bit of stuttering in the frame rate, but saying that this game runs at 5 FPS throughout is a blatant lie. Then there are these other fanboy reviews who straight up attack Nintendo. For instance, we have COD Athlete 1 here. He says, do not waste your money on this game. Do not buy a Switch. The Switch is already very underpowered, has no games, many design flaws, and is just a piece of crap gimmick for 5-year-olds and nostalgia neckbeards. I think he's very angry with Nintendo. They must have stolen his lunch money. Then of course he calls Breath of Wild a piece of crap game. Then says, if you want a good game worth $60, go buy COD, PUBG, Rainbow Six Siege, or literally anything else on a good console, Xbox or PS4, that has a game library. Look, if you're only into online first-person shooter games, Switch may not be the best thing for you. I bet he has taken his own advice and has not bought the Nintendo Switch. Instead, he plays COD every day on his Xbox or PS4 or whatever it is he has. Next up, we have Speedy Bird. This is going to be the last review, and this is also the highest rating that anybody has given on any of these reviews that I've featured on this video. Speedy Bird gives the game a whopping 2 out of 10. He says this game used to be fun, but after you've played for around 90 hours, you start to feel bored, and after 130 hours, you just can't stand it. So I'll give it a 2. If you had fun for 90 hours, I think that game qualifies as fun. And if it takes 130 hours before you get bored of any game, that game is good. If a game is 2 out of 10, I probably get bored of it in an hour max. Anyways, that wraps up this edition of review of Fanboy Reviews. I hope you liked the video. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a video on the fanboy reviews of any particular game. Please like, share and subscribe. This is Soul Controller signing out.